Drafter is an RPG slash roguelike in which you play a young architect after the apocalypse, attempting to help rebuild what's now known in the game as X America. You join two other people in your venture to do this. In an unnamed year, there was a nuclear blast in several areas of the states, and you, as the young architect, wake up one day to find everything has been wiped out and annihilated. And everybody in the game calls it X America now. That's the new name. You meet two other people named Rothbard and Mises, who are two ex soldiers. One is a medic and one is a sniper. Rando is the default name of the protagonist. You can change it in game if you'd like. These are the three different playable characters. You can choose to play one at any given time. It's a roguelike, meaning that the dungeons are random and you get different loot and different materials each time you go through. But it's different than normal roguelikes because you can set the dungeons and you have to create your own weapons. In X America, there's a new periodic table, which is represented by the elements in the game. You have earth, water, coal, iron, stone, lead, silver, copper, and gold. These elements are used to build things, and you can fill out the periodic table as you find more elements. There'll be an on in the pause menu. There's one. You can convert the resources into money or the currency of the game, into food, or you can craft them into things like weapons and other items scattered throughout the game. So they really are valuable. After the resources comes other things like the building of the world. So you have a notebook that keeps track of the things that you've crafted and all of your blueprints. So, for instance, wood plus stone equals a stone sword. Once you get those things together, craft the sword, then you have the blueprint. You also need blueprints to help people rebuild their houses and other things. The currency in the game goes like this: for every 100 items of food equals one resource or one unit of resource, and then the crafted items are done by what they're made, or the currency is what they're made up of, so you can break them apart that way. The fiat currency in the game is collected by people called the reservists, who still use the old Earth's money, and it's only used to buy special items within the game. You won't find it very much, and it's not useful besides that one thing. After that, then you have the market, where you can buy and sell goods on each individual home screen. There's going to be a place like Nuke Right, which is a store in the game where you can buy elements or you can buy simple weapons to craft into better ones. Um, Again, the merchants there will buy and sell resources and stuff like that. The combat is turn based. I'm a horrible artist, by the way. The combat is turn based like a JRPG. It's attack the enemy and the enemy attacks you, and it's very very old school in the fact that you have one person and there's generally only one or two enemies. That's how the combat takes place. The overworld is that you have the home screen, and whatever portion of the game you're in, you'll have the houses, the dungeons, NPCs to speak with, or the shops. All these serve different purposes depending on what portion of the game you're actually in. So that's how that screen works out. Every time you craft an item, you get a blueprint for it, or you can get a blueprint for it and then craft it. Each blueprint will have how the item looks and the two things that it's made up of. This is a stone sword, one wood, one stone makes up the stone sword. This is very basic, but this is what you build all the other items in the game off of, these kinds of things. This is one of the special items. This one's called the Whiskey Blaster. Again, I know the art's terrible. A water gun is a very basic item in the game, but if you add whiskey, which is a foodstuff, to the water gun, you get the whiskey blaster, and it has certain special elements to it that you can. Some are fun, some are practical. Again, here's another thing. I have the sriracha bullets, which have a heat element to them. If you find rooster sauce in the game, which is a food item, and you combine and you dip the bullets in it, you get the sriracha bullets. It's just another special item that you can create off of the very basic things that you find. Also in the game is armor that you can craft. Here's some leather armor. Now, when you find blueprints that won't have the elements yet, what you have to do is you have to track down the elements and you have to start piecing things together. Um, or you can piece things together and then it'll spit you out a blueprint. But either way, it works in conjunction with one another. The mutants of the builders are the enemies in the game. The builders are the final villain, and the mutants are the people are the things that you fight in the turn-based battles, and you can pick up resources, food, weapons, armor, anything off of the mutants. There's lots of different kinds of mutants. Your abilities in this game: Mises can heal, Rothbard can fight, and Rando can build, but Rando can do all three given that he has the right items. Now, you have to be playing him to be able to build anything. So you can use your fighter to go in and collect items, but if unless you're playing Rando, you can't build anything. That's where the weird mechanic comes in. In the game, there are blueprints for everything. There are blueprints for the dungeons. So to go into a dungeon, you have to find the blueprint for it in the randomly selected blueprint or dungeon in the one you're in, usually gotten from a boss, and you have to help out people by giving them blueprints for their houses, and they'll give you things in return. And this has been the Pachachka for the game Drafter, published in 2013. There's a lot more to it, but this is about all I could get to at this point. It seems a lot more complicated than I just let on to be, I think.